Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another random review. And today's random review is from 1965, and it's The Bounty Killer, starring Dan Duryea. That guy that's almost like Richard Widmark, but instead of going on to A Pictures, pretty much stayed in noirs and B westerns as psychopaths and nutters. This is an odd little film directed by Spencer J. Bennett, who has 124 directing credits, or thereabouts. Making lots of submarine films and westerns and generally action-adventure films. This stars Dan Duryea, and the first half of the film is unusual because he plays this God-fearing innocent who's always smiling at people, and not in a maniacal way, in a friendly way, who comes out to a silver mining town looking for work and crosses paths with a saloon girl and upsets a local hoodlum who he then has a fight with, and then the local hoodlum is gunned down by this guy in the bar who has a reputation, and as soon as people hear his name, there's hushed tones. So this guy takes Dan Duryea's character, he befriends him, gives him his room as he's now running out of town after killing the guy who was in the fight. Because it turns out that he was a farmer who the law took away his land and killed one of his brothers, so he's pretty much been on the run ever since. And he tells Dan Duryea that this, the place is wild and the frontier is wild and you need a gun. And of course Dan Duryea is like, I don't need a gun, surely it's not that bad. Being very friendly to everybody. And he also befriends this old sea captain, played by Fuzzy Knight, with a K, believe it or not, who basically came ashore in America on the East Coast and came all the way out west on a wind wagon. So basically a wagon powered by the wind with a sail. It is a strange little film. So the two of them kind of, meet up when Dan Duryea goes to find a job defending loads of silver. But bandits try and steal it from him, and Dan Duryea defends themselves, and he actually is forced to shoot somebody, and then the sea captain tells him there's actually a bounty on this guy of $250, so they collect the bounty, and this puts an idea into Dan Duryea his head about why don't we become bounty hunters or bounty killers, get a bunch of money, and then we can take the saloon girl with us to better places out to California in our wind wagon. They even call the wind wagon Hope. So you pretty much know where this film's going. So we have these hopes and dreams and everything's going to work out. We're going to California in our wind wagon, Yabizer. But obviously things happen. Buster Crabbe, bizarrely, Flash Gordon himself, turns up as one of the targets of Dan Duryea and Fuzzy Knight's bounty hunting. Something happens along the way, as you'd expect, that turns this kind of happy-go-lucky Dan Duryea, which we're all not really used to. We're used to kind of malicious, weird, twisted Dan Duryea, but don't worry, it's coming. So he's left for dead out in the country. He bizarrely stumbles into the farm of the saloon girl's father, who she left when she was 17 because she was bored and she was desperate just to get out. But she's back in the farm with her father, who bring Dan Duryea back to life and have him recover from his attack. But obviously he is now twisted and hell-bent on revenge and decides to pretty much cut a one-man swathe of bounty hunting across the whole of the West. There's a great scene where he's sitting, still kind of recovering from his wounds, drawing rifles, and he has this plan of constructing this kind of super weapon. It's essentially a sawn-off shotgun that he invents, and he pretty much blasts his way across the country. It's done in a wonderful montage of, you know, the wanted posters coming up, and then the almighty bang with the sawn-off shotgun, and people flying out of windows and flying out of barns and stuff. The film's only like 91 minutes long. It just rattles along wonderfully. It's obviously predictable. You kind of know the story, but there's just such joy in seeing Dan Duryea's performance and his transformation. Obviously it does happen quite quickly. He kind of goes from, oh shucks, everything's going to be great, we've got a wind wagon called Hope, to, I'm just going to kill everybody, I need to kill everybody. So obviously he changes his outfits, he changes his physique, his hat's a lot dirtier, as he essentially becomes the thing that he hated at the start. The character that kind of defended him in the bar, obviously he turns up later and under different circumstances, which again is completely predictable. But that's the thing with these westerns, they kind of are predictable, but the thing that makes them stand out is the supporting cast. Again, Fuzzy Knight is fantastic as the old sea captain. Buster Crabbe, Peter Duryea, Dan Duryea's brother's in it. It's just a lovely little film. Again, Dan Duryea didn't particularly get too many starring roles. He was generally supporting psychopath. But in this he gets a nice character arc. It's a lot of fun. There's a couple of very amusing moments that probably aren't supposed to be amusing. It's nice seeing Buster Crabbe playing against type, and I've probably set the world record for saying Dan Duryea, but Dan Duryea. It's not a great western. Some people might not even say it's a very good western, but I had a lot of fun with it, and it's just very enjoyable. and it whittles along, and I think you would enjoy it. It's in colour. Sadly, the DVD quality isn't brilliant. It's kind of quite rough around the edges. Hopefully one day it might turn up an Arrow Academy Blu-ray, because it's a nice little gem of a film. So thanks very much for watching this very random review. Please let me know if you've seen The Bounty Killer with Dan Duryea. Let me know if you too have a wind wagon called Hope. And hopefully we'll see you again for another random review. This is Solitude Ronan saying farewell.